Hi everyone, welcome to your lower body strength circuits workout. For equipment, you're going to need a single heavy weight. I'm using a 20-pound dumbbell. Go up or down from there. And then optional, I'm going to use a resistance band loop. I'm using a heavy one. Just for the first circuit, I'm going to have it around my thighs. If you don't have access to a resistance band, don't worry about it. You just need that heavy weight. 2 circuits. First circuit, I'm going to give you 4 exercises. Second circuit, I'm going to give you 5 exercises. That's because in the first one we have unilateral work, so we'll complete 4 sets, twice on the right, twice on the left. In the second circuit, no unilateral work, so I'll give you 1 extra exercise and we just go through it 3 times. The interval structure we're going to use 45 seconds of work and then 10 seconds of rest as you move from one exercise to the next. So that 10 seconds of rest, it's really just transition time so you can get from one exercise to the next one. When you finish a completed circuit, you get to rest for 30 seconds before repeating. And in between the 2 circuits, I will give you a full minute to recover. And during that time, I'll show you a preview of the upcoming exercises. And if that sounded confusing, don't worry, I will guide you through it. If you enjoy class, you can get access to more of these workouts by becoming a member. All the info you need on that is below in the video description. We're going to start class with a guided warm-up focused on mobility and a little bit of dynamic movement to build some heat in the body. And then we'll finish up class with a guided cool down. No equipment needed for our warm-up. Let's get right into it. So standing, I want you to take your right arm, reach it up towards the ceiling, and we're going to side bend over to the left. And staying within the side bend, we're going to rotate down and up. On an exhale, your chest rotates slightly down towards the floor. And as you inhale, chest lifts up slightly towards the ceiling. Keep that going. So we're linking movement to breath, and we're mobilizing through the thoracic spine and the rib cage. One more time. Come through your side bend, come up straight, and now your left arm is going to reach up. Same thing, other side. Let's side bend over to the right. Exhale, rotate chest towards the floor. And inhale slightly up to the ceiling. Only as big as you can rotate without sinking into that lower back, so don't feel like you have to force a huge rotation. One more time. Come through your side bend, up tall, and we're going to come into a hip hinge. Hands can come to heart center, feet about hips distance apart or a smidge wider. From here, you're going to break at the hips, hinge back, squeeze to the seat as you come upright. So a hip hinge is the foundation of so many exercises, especially that we are going to do today. So we're going to do them body weight before adding in that heavy weight. Now we're going to start turning this into a combo, adding in a squat. So you hip hinge, bend the knees, dropping to a squat, press yourself up to stand. You hinge, drop it to a squat, stand. Now this is a lower body class. When we add weight though, a lot of lower body exercises require us to be very active through our mid-back area. So next time you do a hip hinge, I want you to hold the hinge, reach the arms forward, and from here we're going to start to trace circles with those arms. So we're mobilizing through those shoulders and just sort of establishing this connection to our mid-back area. Switch direction of those circles. One more. And then we're going to take it into a reverse fly. So the arms are going to open as the shoulder blades slide in towards each other, and then hands come in front. Opening and closing, continuing to reach the tailbone long, length through the back of the neck as well. We're going to come into a forward fold up next. We're going to focus on opening up through the hamstrings, the backs of the legs, the calves. Last time in the fly, and then forward fold. So we're going to come into an inchworm. Hands to the mat, legs stay pretty straight. You're going to walk yourself out to a plank. And then you're going to walk your hands back in towards your feet. Keep the legs as straight as you can, but if you're really tight through the hamstrings, then of course, feel free to add a little bend to the knees. Last time. And then from here, I want you to separate your feet and you're going to drop your bum down so we're coming into a wide, low squat. We're gonna do a very similar thing, that inchworm, but we're gonna move between this low squat position and a plank. So hands to the mat, walk yourself out. This time, instead of keeping those legs straight, you bend the knees as you walk your hands back in, coming into that low squat, opening up through the hips. And this time, as you walk yourself out, I want you to stop in a bear plank position. So knees under hips, you might need to step them in a little closer, and then just drop those knees all the way down to the mat. You're in a tabletop position. Let's go for some hip circles, starting on the left side. So that left knee is going to trace circles, opening up, sweeping it back and around. One more this direction. Same side, but reverse direction. One more time. Take it over to the right. Switch direction. We're going to come into some dynamic movement up next, build a little heat in the body. Knees down, tuck your toes under, lift those hips up into your downward facing dog, pedal out the heels. And then we're going to walk our hands in towards our feet, roll it up all the way to standing. So first movement in this dynamic movement series, it's going to be a squat to a butt kicker. It doesn't have to be a deep squat. So it's down, heel into the seat, down, other side. So adding in just a smidge of speed here to bring the heart rate up. Also a nice active opening through the quads as we draw the heel in towards the seat. We're going to find a sumo squat position up next. And it's going to be a punch and a pivot side to side. In 3, 2, 1. So holding that semi-squat, externally rotate from the hips, start by punching over to the right. Left arm comes across, pivot that left heel, back through center, other side. Pivoting 1 foot at a time. We're going to go through those 2 movements 3 times. Let's go back to that first one. Squat butt kick in 3, 2, 1. Toes point forward. Squat, heel into the seat. Sumo squat position, punch and pivot. 3, 2, 1. Externally rotate from the hips. Final set coming up. Squat to the butt kick. 3, 2, 1. Toes point forward. Sumo squat position, punch and pivot in 4, 3, 2, 1. Externally rotate. So coming up, I'm going to show you a preview of our first 4 exercises, and we'll get right into our first circuit. In 3, 2, 1. Here's your preview. Band around your thighs. If you don't have a band though, the exercises will still be effective, so don't worry about it. First up, we are down on the mat. It's a glute bridge. Now we're going to have one heel lifted off of the mat so that we shift more of the focus into that one side. From there, you're going to come into a modified side plank position with your knee down. Hips are going to stay lifted. Top leg is going to lift up and down. We then come to standing and grab our weight. It's going to be 2 low squat pulses, and then you're going to shift the weight into the target side, bringing the other foot to tap the inside of that calf. You don't come up all the way out of your squat when you do that little tap. We finish up with a single leg deadlift. You're going to have the weight in the opposite hand. You're going to do 1 staggered with your back foot on the floor, and then you're going to lift that back foot off the mat and try to do 1 balancing. To modify though, just keep the back foot on the mat the whole time. All right, we're going to do it twice on one side, twice on the other side. Let's go. Right leg is going to be the focus to start. Come down onto your mat. Knees are bent, heels are under the knees, so don't pull them in too close to your butt. And your feet are about hips distance apart, so you're pressing out gently on that band. Now, from here, you're going to pick your hips up into a hip bridge position, and I want you to take your left heel and lift your left heel up off of the mat so that it's really your right side that is supporting you. From here, we're going to drop those hips down and up, 45 seconds. Hips drop, fire through the seat, hips lift. lower, slam that right foot down into the floor as you lift. Now this movement, it's like a hip hinge, okay? So your spine is neutral here, neutral at the top. So you need to think of really reaching your tailbone long. What I tend to see a lot is when people lift, you kind of lift through the rib cage and you leave your hips down here. Well, that's not a neutral spine. So you want to really think of the driving force coming through your glutes. As the hips lift, your shoulders stay down, so don't come all the way up to your neck. 10 seconds to transition. So you're gonna mirror me. Right forearm and right knee are down, and we're gonna come up into this modified side plank position, keeping the top knee bent as well. Now that top leg is just gonna lift and lower. So we're working both sides here, top and bottom, but I want us to really focus on the support that our bottom side seat is providing by keeping our hips lifted. So to make sure the glutes and the outer hip doing the work here instead of our low back, we want to take this top left hip and draw it slightly forward just so that you really stay stacked, because we have a tendency to roll back. Keep lifting up through the hips, 10 seconds to rest. Grab your weight, we're gonna come into that squat pulse. So mirroring me, right foot is gonna stay on the mat the whole time. Press out against that band. 2 low squat pulses, and then you're gonna come up just about halfway, and you bring that left foot in to tap the right. Staying low. So you can think of those first 2 exercises as kind of glute activation work before we add in this weight. Now you're staying open across the chest, so you're not rolling forward through those shoulders. Keep pressing out against the band. Woo! Rest. Okay, so the weight comes into your left hand. Your right foot is going to stay on the mat, spread out through those toes. Left foot is staggered. Single leg deadlift. So you're going to do 1 with that left foot on the mat. And then when you come to stand, can you lift the left toes off the mat a couple inches and do your second rep? And then foot goes down. Now, if that is too much, I want you to stay with the back toes down, okay? Sliding those hips back. Squeezing through the seat as you come to stand. Stay long and neutral through the spine. Whew, okay, 30 seconds to rest. We're gonna do that same thing, same side. I really shouldn't be putting my weight on my couch, but this couch is on its last leg anyway. All right, we're gonna come back down to the mat. We'll start with that hip bridge. Arms down by your side, press them firmly into the mat. Fire through the seat to lift your hips up into that long hip bridge position, and then lift your left heel off of the mat, okay? So it's the right foot that is grounded down and really supporting you. Stay connected to the front side of your ribs so that you don't flare open and arch into the back. Really think, reach your tailbone long. Now notice, is that band wanting to sway in and out? You need to keep that gentle pressure out on it so that if I were to come over and balance something on the top of your knee, it shouldn't fall side to side. Ten seconds to transition. Mirror me. Right knee, right forearm down. Lift the hips up into that modified side plank position. Top leg is going to lift and lower. Knee is bent, feet can be flexed. So you don't want to sink into this bottom shoulder. Yes, we're focusing on outer hips and glutes here, but it's not just an outer hip and glute exercise. So we're really active through this side body area. Both top and bottom side working. Keep reaching up through those hips. Okay, grab that weight, come to standing. 2 squat pulses with that little tap. Right foot stays planted on the mat, left foot will tap in. So you have a wide stance squat here. Press out on that resistance band. When you tap the foot, don't come all the way up to a straight leg, okay? So just think 2 low pulses and then just like a mid-range squat. If you need to modify, you can always drop the weight. Whew, rest. All right, weight goes in your left hand, single leg deadlift. Square off through the hips. Left foot is like 6 inches behind the right. Lift the heel. 1 staggered. Drive it up to the top. Can you lift that left foot off of the mat? And give me 1 balancing. And if the balancing one is not working, then keep that back foot down on the mat, okay? Form takes top priority here. Keep reaching this right hip back so that your hips stay square as you do this. And rest, 30 seconds. All right, twice more. We're gonna do it on the other side. All right, hip bridge position, make your way down to the mat. Press out against that band. Drive your feet into the floor, lift those hips up into your long bridge, and then lift your right heel off of the mat. So left foot stays planted firmly. Hips lower, squeeze to the seat. So almost add in a tiny little pause at the top. Really focus on that contraction. And don't just think of lifting up through the hips. Also think of pressing down through that left foot. Keep constant tension on that band, gently pressing out. All right, left knee, left forearm down on the mat. Mirror me. We lift ourselves up into that modified side plank. Hips are stacked. Top leg lifts and lowers. Exhale, lift and lower. Both right and left side glutes working. Keep lifting those hips up. And again, if you're feeling this in your low back, you might need to take this top right hip and shift it forward a little bit. Knee and elbow should be in line with each other. Let's stand, grab that weight. So this time your left foot stays planted. You'll mirror me. It's the right foot that will tap in. 2 weighted squat pulses with that little side tap. Press out on the band. 2 pulses, little semi squat. And you don't actually have to kick yourself in the leg. It's really just to get you to shift weight into that target side. Reach your tailbone long, open through the chest, long neutral spine. Rest. Weight goes in your right hand, left foot forward. We have that single leg deadlift. Square off through the hips. 1 rep with your right foot on the mat lightly. And then if you're adding in the hovering one, you lift those toes off the mat. And if form is really wonky when you lift your foot off of the mat, then just keep it down, okay? Huge emphasis on the glutes in this first circuit. Rest. Okay, 30 seconds. One final time through. And then you get all new exercises. So we'll make our way down to the mat. Final time in that hip bridge position. Tension on the band, spread out through those left toes, really drive the left foot into the floor. Now take that right heel, pick it off the mat. We lower and lift. So it's not quite a single leg hip bridge, but we're really putting the emphasis on that left side by taking our right heel away from the mat. And so that you can get the most powerful contraction of your glutes when you lift those hips up, really let them come into a relaxed, elongated position here at the bottom. Rest. Flip onto your side. Left knee, left forearm down. Stack those hips. Modified side plank position. Now before you do anything, really make a fist with the bottom left side seat, okay? And then top right leg lifts and lowers, pressing against that band. You're still gonna feel this one if you do it without the resistance band. So don't worry if you don't have one. Keep lifting those hips. Come to stand, grab your weight. Squat pulse with that little side tap. Press out against the band, knees tracking in line with your middle toes. Left foot stays planted, right foot slides in. Don't come up too high. You got it, you're in your second to last work interval of this first circuit. Pulse, pulse and tap. Whew, 10 seconds of transition time. Weight goes in your right hand, left foot forward, right foot staggered. Square those hips. Deadlift. Option to lift the foot and alternate. So the band here, it's not playing a huge role, okay? So I'm not as concerned about what's going on there. Keep the weight close to your leg when you do this. If you let the weight go too far in front of you, it's going to cause your shoulders to round. And done. Okay, you have about a minute to recover. I'm going to show you our second circuit. No band needed for this second circuit. First up, it's going to be a sumo squat, and at the bottom of that sumo squat, you do 4 alternating push-offs side to side. You then stand. Second exercise, it is going to be a back lunge, stand and knee drive. Back to the back lunge, and then you step to a low squat and switch which leg is in front. Third exercise, exact same thing, but instead of a back lunge, it's a curtsy lunge. So you go curtsy lunge, knee drive, curtsy lunge, squat, other side. From there, we're going to flip that weight so that it's up and down. We are going to do 2 squat cleans, and then we're going to do a get up. So you go knee, knee, foot, foot, back into that low squat position. If you don't want to come all the way down to a kneeling position, you can just give me 2 squat pulses instead. So it would just be 2 pulses, and then you would do your 2 squat cleans. Final exercise, body weight, no weight needed. You're going to be in a bear plank position. Your knees lower, they lightly tap the mat. You lift them back up to the hovers. Weight is at your chest. We're going to find that sumo position. So you have a wide stance, and then the turnout comes from your hips. You're going to take it to the bottom. 4 push-offs. 2, 3, 4. Stand up. Squeeze the seat. So when you do that push off, really think of pushing that foot into the floor. You're not coming up very high. It's a little shift side to side. And the trick there is to keep your knees pointing outward. 10 seconds to rest. All right, we're gonna come into that lunge combo. So it's a back lunge to a knee drive, back lunge, transition through squat. So step back into your lunge, stand and knee drive, return to the lunge. Now step to a low squat and just switch which foot is in back. Same thing other side. Knee drive, lunge, squat, other side. Rest. Now we're going to do that exact same thing, but it's a curtsy lunge instead of a split lunge. So your right foot will step behind the left in that curtsy. Come up and knee drive. The knee kind of comes out at an angle. Return to that curtsy lunge, and then same deal. Come to a low squat, curtsy on the other side. So you're a pro at this pattern by now. Make sure you can pause and balance for a second at the top. I want you to really think about squeezing into the glutes, bracing through the abdominals as you come up. Whew, 10 seconds to rest. All right, 2 squat cleans and then a get up. So weight is on the floor. Sink down, chest stays open. Clean, squat, return. You do that twice. And the second time that weight comes down, leave it down, and you're gonna go knee, knee, back to the low squat. We're gonna alternate our lead side every time you do that get up. Other side leads the way. So when you do this clean, don't think of pulling with the arms, think of driving through your legs. Your legs are providing the power. Whew, 10 seconds to rest. All right, we don't need the weight for this last one. Bear plank position. Hands under shoulders, knees under hips, tuck your toes under, lift those knees up to a hover. Knees tap, exhale, lift a few inches. Tap and lift, it's small. So this is a total body exercise. It's shoulders, yes, it's core. But the top of your thighs, your quads, are gonna start talking to you. Woo! Don't lift up too high. Neutral through the spine. Long through the neck, so don't let your head droop down. Oh, and rest. 30 seconds. All right, we're going through that whole thing twice more. So think about what I was talking about in the warm-up, how our back has to work during these exercises because they're front-loaded. We have the weight in front, so our mid-back is helping us keep the chest open and not collapse under that weight. Sumo squat. Sumo squat. You can hold the weight like this or lengthwise, doesn't matter. Turnout comes from your hips. Take it down to the bottom, alternating push-offs. 10 seconds to transition. Back lunge, knee drive, back lunge, low squat. So we have that combo. You're a pro at it by now. Let's go. Back lunge, knee drive. Back lunge, transition through your low squat. Ten seconds to catch your breath. Same thing, but a curtsy lunge. So one foot steps behind the other. Curtsy, wide knee drive, curtsy, come to your squat, other side. Oop. Are you staying connected to your mid-back here? You're open across the chest. There's that gentle, subtle retraction of the shoulder blades here so that your shoulders don't roll forward towards that weight. Oh, 10 seconds. All right, 2 squat cleans, 1 get up. Whew. Don't come into the clean like this. Really send your hips back, open across your chest. 2 squat cleans. And then it's down, down, up, up. Kneel, kneel, back to the low squat. Lead with your other side. Next time you do that, get up. Woo. Oh, 10 seconds to rest. Weight out of the way. Bear plank knee taps, you got it. Spread out through those fingers, tuck your toes under, knees hover. Drop them to tap the mat, lift them a couple inches. If you're more comfortable working a little higher, you can work a little higher. You don't have to bring your knees all the way down to the mat. I just don't want you to straighten through the legs, okay? You're not coming through to a down dog, even though I know that would feel really nice right now. Stay with it. Little tap, little lift, almost there. Tap, lift, burn it out. Whew, and done. 30 seconds. Going through that just one more time. Final time through, we have under 5 minutes of work to go, and then we cool down. We'll start with that sumo squat. The turnout comes from your hips. Take it to the bottom. 4 little push-offs, alternating, so to each side. And stand. So your feet are only turned out as wide as your hips can support. So if your feet are like this, but your knees are still kind of pointing forward, you need to bring your toes forward a little more, okay? I want you to think of really grounding down through the feet as you do this. So push that big toe down, not just the heel. 10 seconds to rest. Lunge, knee drive. Transition through squat to the other side. Back lunge to start. Back lunge, squeeze to the seat, brace through your abdominals as you do the knee drive. Back lunge, get low. Squat, other side. Rest. Same thing, but curtsy. Curtsy lunge. Knee drive at a 45-degree angle. Back to the curtsy. Transition through your low squat. Other side. Oh, almost there. Oh, all right, one more weighted exercise. You got this. 2 squat cleans to the get up. Sit low. Drive through your legs to do the clean. 2 cleans, 1 get up. Oh. Switch your lead side. Oh, put the weight away. Final exercise, bear plank position. You got it. Knee taps. Final 45 seconds of work, then we cool down. Let's do it. Tuck your toes under, knees tap, and lift to your bear plank hover. When you tap into the mat, don't transition any weight into them, okay? It's a tiny tap. Close your eyes if that helps. Sometimes it does help me to just zone out. Other times, I mean, it literally does nothing, but you're too close to the end of the circuit to stop now, okay? Just go. I know it burns. Unlock your elbows. Long through the back of your neck. And done. Knees down, butt back. Whew. Take a quick child's pose. Awesome work today. That second circuit got me out of breath. Okay, we're gonna come into some stretches. If you want some padding for your knees, you can fold your mat over. Let's bring our left foot forward, right knee stays down and back in a split lunge position. I want us to find a neutral pelvis, so you gently squeeze through the glutes, square the hips, and then you're gonna press the whole pelvis forward until you feel that good stretch through the top, through the front of your back right hip flexor. When you're ready, we're gonna shift the hips back, straightening out through our front left leg, flexing the foot. We're gonna fold forward in our half split position for a nice stretch through the back side of this front leg. Bend back into that front left knee, and then let's just switch sides. Right foot forward, square through the hips, gentle squeeze of the seat, and then you're gonna press the whole pelvis forward for that hip flexor stretch. Hi, Pickles. I'm almost done filming. Are you excited? And then let's shift those hips back, straightening out through the front leg. Hips are square, fold forward, chest towards the knee, half split. Why are you staring at me like that, Pickles? I think she's sick of me filming in the living room right next to her dog bed all the time. All right, we're gonna come into a tabletop position. So knees down. And I want you to tuck your toes under. Don't worry, we're not going back into those bear plank taps. Pick your hips up and come into a downward facing dog. Really press your hands into the mat and then press your heels down. If you'd rather pedal them out a little bit before you settle into the calf stretch, go for it. Now we're going to finish up with a half pigeon stretch. If you know that's uncomfortable for you, just doesn't work for your body, you could always do a figure 4 stretch instead, laying on your back. But otherwise, let's take that left knee behind the left wrist, kick that shin forward, place it down, and we'll come down into our half pigeon. You can rest your forehead on your forearms. Stay here as long as feels good, but when you're ready to transition over to the other side, we'll transition through that downward facing dog, coming back into it for a second. And then this time your right knee will draw forward behind the right wrist, and we will kick that shin forward. I want you to take deep breaths, thinking of directing that breath into the areas where you feel tightness. Relax your jaw. Try to relax through the stomach. Now we'll finish up in a comfortable seated position. You can transition there however you'd like. You could press back, coming through downward facing dog, or I'm just gonna roll to the outside of that right hip, and I'm gonna come up into a cross-legged position. And let's just finish with some fluid side bends just because it feels good. So fingertips kind of tent on either side of you. You're just gonna sweep one arm up and over, and then take it over to the other side. A little bit of freedom of movement here. Might feel good to add in a rotation, chest towards the mat as you come up and over, a little rotation down. One more each side. And we will finish coming through center. One deep breath together. Inhale, arms up overhead. And exhale, release. Awesome job. That is your workout. If you liked it, make sure to give this video a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to my channel. I post new workouts here on YouTube for free every Monday, sometimes more frequently. And then I also share additional workout classes every month for members, and all the information you need about becoming a member is below in the video description. If you like this particular class format, I do have an upper body one that is available to members right now. All right, thanks guys. I'll see you next week.